Hi guys, this is Meenu. Welcome back to my channel Storytale. Today we are going to be discussing Kingdom of the Cursed by Kerri Maniscalco. This is the second book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series. I was in love with the first book, Kingdom of Wicked. It was such an interesting book. It was one of my favorite books of 2020. I really enjoyed it. I really loved the characters. I really loved the premise of it. These deadly scenes, the concept of deadly scenes, the concept of 7 Princes of Hell. I think it was very well done too. I also loved the chemistry between Wrath and Amelia. I think they were a great pair. I really loved their banter, their enemy to lover kind of vibe. In the second book, we do not get that much of enemy to lover, to be honest, because they have already been lover. In the first book, I mean, they have been attracted to each other, and there was not much animosity in the second book. But anyway, if you do not remember much about the first book, let me give you a little bit of summary. To be honest, I do not actually remember that much too. I just remember a few bits and pieces, so just bear with me. In the first book, we met Amelia. She is kind of a witch who used to live with her nonna. She also had a twin sister who was murdered, and her murder is the basic motivation of this book. Amelia was hell-bent on trying to find out the murder of her sister. There were also many witches who were dying at the same time, so that was another mystery that she has to unfold. In the process of her revenge, she summoned Wrath, who is one of the Prince of Hell. Like the name suggests, the deadly sin that he owns is Wrath. Both of them find a connection between each other. Even though Wrath was kind of bound to Amelia, he could not go back to his realm, but still he was really enjoying her company. They were kind of starting to fall in love with each other. There were of course a lot of hate and love kind of relationship between them, but that was really enjoyable. There were also 1 or 2 Princes of Hell that was shown in the book too. I was actually in love with this concept of 7 Princes of Hell who actually own 7 deadly sins. So I think that was a very interesting concept. I do not actually remember much what happened by the end of the book. I just remember that she found out some truth about Wrath and the motivation behind her sister's murder. So in order to find out who was the mastermind behind her sister's death, she has to go to hell and she has to become queen so that she can get to know more about who actually killed her. And she also had to marry the Prince of Pride in order to become the queen of the hell, so that she can know more about what actually happened to her sister. That was the cliffhanger for the first book, because of course Wrath and Amelia loved each other, but they could not confess, and also it's gonna put a lot of trouble between them, because of course if she's gonna marry Prince of Pride, then who's gonna marry Wrath? But anyway, in the second book we start from the same place where we ended up in the first book. Amelia goes to hell with Wrath, and they of course share a bond, but of course there is a little bit of animosity between both of them, because Amelia is still angry with Wrath because he kind of betrayed her. He knew a lot of things about what actually happened, but he was kind of hiding it, so she was very much angry with him. But there's the sexual tension between them that both of them cannot deny. From the first go in the book, we get some kind of sexual tension kind of scenes between them. I mean, there were a lot of erotic scenes in this book, and it kind of started from the first and the second chapter. The scenes between them were kind of actually very nicely written. The steamy scenes, it was really hot to read. A little bit too flowery sometimes. I mean, there has been 2 kind of tones that has been used for the sexual scenes in this book. Sometimes it is a little bit harsher, sometimes a little bit more crude, and then sometimes it is very flowery and everything. So I do not know, maybe Kelly was a little bit confused about what kind of tone she wanted to go with the sexual scenes here. Did she want it a little bit more subtle way, or maybe she wanted a little bit more explicit kind of a way? She was a little bit confused here and there in this book. But anyway, there are a lot of such scenes in this book. Maybe 40% of the book is basically sexual scenes in this book, but other than that, there are a lot of stories too. The story does not progresses much in this book. I'm gonna say this book, Amelia actually tries to find a lot about her sister or something, but she actually finds about her by the end of the book. In the middle section, she is just figuring things out, and there are a lot of puzzles, and there are a lot of talks of curses and everything. We get to know about first witch, little curses here and there. We get to know a lot about Wrath in this book. Not 100%, because there are a lot of things that is unclear about Wrath still, but we get to see that a lot of Wrath in this book. I think I really enjoyed Wrath in this book because he was totally in his zone. He was using magical powers. He knew so many things. He was really best at everything. He was really protecting Amelia whenever she gets into danger. Amelia too was also a very badass character in this book. There are certain inner monologues which was kind of irritating, because she just kept on thinking in her mind and everything, even about Wrath or something like that. She just jumps to conclusion over certain things. Okay, there's something happening, happening, and then she just jumps to conclusion. I think that is one of her flaws. But anyway, I really enjoyed her in this book too. She really held her place. She was really badass, so I really enjoyed her too. There were few side characters in this book, but they were not really that important. They were not really significant, at least for me. They were just come and go kind of characters. There was the Prince Pride, and I was really intrigued to actually see him. I really wanted him for more pages, but we get him only, I think, in one page or 1/3 of a page. But anyway, he was like barely there, and I was really hoping to actually see him from the beginning, but he was actually not there. He came by the end of the book, and that was also a very small scene. I really enjoyed whatever scene he had, but it was such a small scene. I really wanted more of him. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get into the like and dislike section. The first good thing about this book is, of course, the chemistry between Rath and Amelia. Like I said, both of their scenes were actually very amazing. I really loved both of them together in this book. The steamy scenes, especially, there was this lagoon kind of scene that was just written very well. There were also many other scenes actually. Every scene was written very well in this book. Even the final ending, I was kind of happy the way it ended. There were like many scenes with them because there were not many characters in this book. So we get a lot of Amelia and we get a lot of Rath, and I really loved that. There's still a mystery to Rath's character, even though we find out a lot about him in this book. Still there is a mysterious tone to him. We are not actually sure what he is or who he is or what are the powers that he holds. But I actually like my male protagonist to be a little bit mysterious. I do not know why, I just love that. There were a lot of revelation about Rath and his character, and that kind of added a lot meaning to their relationship. When you're gonna read it, you're gonna know there's so many things that actually make sense about their relationship. Even by the end, the way it ended, it was actually really beautifully done. Even though this book did not feel like an enemy to lover kind of book, but still it has all of the sexual tension, it has all of the chemistry that you need. It is, like I said, a perfect relationship between Rath and Amelia. The second thing that I like about this book is how much engaging it was. There were a lot of twists and turns that was happening in this book. There was a lot of mystery to uncover, even though we do not actually get fully picture of what is actually happening or some of the biggest truth. I'm pretty sure we are going to know about that in the third book. I think that is the last book. So of course there are going to be a lot of revelation in the last book, but still this book kind of builds up to that. There are a lot of riddles, there are a lot of puzzles, there are a lot of things that people were seeing in puzzles. Even Envy was a little bit mysterious, coy. There are certain things that was happening, and of course by the end of the book we discover a very big secret about Rath. Even in the middle of the book we discover a great secret about the relationship of Rath and Amelia, and that kind of added something else to their story. There were also other mysterious characters who were not actually introduced but talked about a lot in this book. There was First Witch, the curse, her daughter. There were also goddesses, 7 sisters. There were a lot of talk of many other celestial beings, but they have not been fully actually realized in this book. I think that is going to happen in the third and the last book. I'm pretty sure the third book is going to be very interesting because there are a lot of things to actually see or unravel in the last book. But anyway, this book was also not dull at all. It was actually very interesting. There were many twists and turns, many things happening, and even the hell as a realm was very interesting. There were borders and everything. There were kingdoms, different kingdoms. There was party happening. There was gluttony, his extravagant party and everything. There were many things about these princes that we find out. Like I said, it was such an interesting book which filled of twists and turns, and I really enjoyed it. The third thing that I really loved about this book are the steamy scenes. I think it was done very well. There were so many good scenes, especially the one scene, that lagoon scene, that was like, I think it was very beautifully done. Even there was this scene in the beginning of the book. I do not remember the place. I think it was a doorway kind of a place. That was the first time that I saw that Kerri Maniscalco had taken the sexuality in a very big way in this book. The first book had few scenes, but it was not as explicit as it was in this book. This was not as explicit as Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas, but still this was a lot of adult. It has a lot of sex scenes compared to the first one. The tone kind of shifts. The only thing that bothers me is the tone of the sexual scenes. It kind of changes in certain scenes. Like I said, it was very crude, it was very raw. The things were explained very much bolder way, but in certain scenes it was like very flowery and with this poetic meaning kind of a way. So it was really confusing. I did not like the change in the tone or something. I don't know, it was kind of confusing. But like I said, there were many steamy scenes that I actually enjoyed, especially the one at the end which happens at Gluttony's party. I think that was again done very well. Like I said, this book was actually full of it, but it was not actually in a cheap or a bad way. It was actually written very well, though there was a little bit problem with the tone, but anyway, it was actually written very well. The book altogether was written very well. It does not come out as something that it does just want to focus on the sexual content. It wants to focus on both the story and it too. It wanted to be an adult kind of a book, and it was, but it was not that much adult as we have seen with Black Dagger Brotherhood series or the Kingdom of the Flesh series. Kingdom, I don't remember the name fully, and or not even Sarah J Maas series. It was a little bit less compared to that, but still compared to the first book, it had a lot. Now let's talk about the things that I did not like. The first and the foremost, the princes were not introduced in this book. There was Prince Gluttony, there was Prince Envy, and there was Prince Pride. These three were the only princes that were introduced, other than Wrath, of course. Prince Envy had really few scenes. He was there for, I think, one full chapter, and then again at the end a little bit. Prince Gluttony was introduced by the end of the book. Again, he was introduced just for a little bit. He was not fleshed out too. And there was Prince Pride. I was really intrigued, and I was actually very much hoping to see him. I was really intrigued by his character. In the book, he was talked a lot about. Like, he was talked about as devil. He is the main king here. He is whom Emilia should marry to become the ultimate queen of hell. But he was really introduced by the end of the book, and we get only 1 or 2 scenes with him. I also wanted to see other princes too. I really wanted to feel their power, even with Gluttony, Pride, Envy. Maybe a little bit was there, but it was not that too strong. Like I said, the princes were not actually fleshed out in this book, which was kind of disappointing, because in the first book I really loved the concept, like I said. So I really wanted those sins or the princes to actually be more present in the book, but it was not there. I really hope I do not get disappointed in the third book. I really want more of the prince, more of their deadly scenes, more their effect on Emilia or any other person, to be honest. I just really want to see them in action. The second most disappointing thing about this book is the ending. The cliffhanger was good. The scene between Emilia and Wrath was actually very nice. I really love the cliffhanger. But the ending scene kind of felt very anticlimactic. I mean, we were building up to this feast. We were training and doing things, and things were happening for this particular feast. It was really dull and it was really boring. So I really hope the ending of the third book is much better. It is not as disappointing as this one. The third thing that was a little bit disappointing are certain scenes which does not actually make any sense in the book. So we get to see Envy, and there was this scene where he actually tells Emilia to actually spell his drink or their drink so that they can tell the truth. I do not even understand why Envy was doing that, because he did not actually ask anything from Emilia as a truth. He did not actually get anything out of her. He was just telling his truth and whatever Emilia was trying to know. So that, like I said, does not make any sense. If these princes are supposed to be wicked, if they are supposed to be, bad sins, then what are they doing? I do not understand. Every prince that I've seen have actually been a little bit, calmer with Emilia. They have just been, being very careful with Emilia. They have been treating her like the queen she is. But they have been treating her very nicely in this book. There have been no major tricks, or there have been no major problems against her. So I do not know what the princes are doing. But like I said, Envy's action of that, him making her spell a truth drink, that did not make any sense to me. Even the conversation was not that great. It did not reveal anything big except about Envy, that there's something that Wrath has done wrong to him, so he was just trying to take a revenge or something. He wants to find out certain things. There are 3 objects or something that he is actually looking for, and he wants Emilia's help in that. But other than that, it was not a big revelation. He could have asked her or told her something like that, or he could have blackmailed her. He did not actually needed to tell the whole truth. I do not know. That action did not make any sense. There are also certain scenes where Emilia just has some revelation, just like that. I mean, she just goes and read a book, and just she has a revelation about herself, about her powers. I mean, she tries one time and her magic comes back, or she just discovers that she can create fire just like that. I mean, there was no, building up to that or anything. It just happens. There are also many training scenes in this book, but again, that training scenes does not actually pay off. I also do not understand why Rath will not actually reveal the whole truth to Amelia. Why he was so much mysterious. I mean, he could have told her whatever the revelation that we had. It was nothing such a big deal. He could have actually told her who he is, what he is, and what is their relationship. He could have just told her. He could have told her about her sister too. There are so many things that he does not tell her, and we just do not get to realize what is the reason behind it. Why is he being so mysterious and being coy? Maybe it was just the requirement of the book. But anyway, there has to be some reason for him to be, that much mysterious and not telling her anything. So I do not know. That does not make sense to me again. Why isn't he telling her everything? There are also certain actions of Princess which does not make sense too. Everyone is treating Amelia as if she's, some sort of precious thing, or she's something out of ordinary, or she's something, very unique, or something one in a million kind of a person, and everyone kind of wants her, even though they can have anyone, everyone just kind of wants Amelia for them. So I do not know. They were like, I do not know. Everyone was like obsessed with Amelia. I mean, I like her as a character, but the obsession between the princess, I just do not get. Overall, I did enjoy this book. I really loved all the twists and turns and everything. There were a little bit fault here and there, but still this was a very good book. I was not really actually disappointed with the second installment. I was in love with the first book. It was a 5-star read for me. The second book was a 4-star read because I did enjoy it, but still there were a lot of few flaws in this, especially when it comes to Princess of Hell. I really hope Kerri Maniscalco actually fleshes out more of the princess in the next book, more of the scenes, more of the mystery and everything. We get a little bit more clear picture of what is actually happened in the third and the last installment. I'm actually really looking forward to it. Till then, do let me know in the comments down below what you think of this book and what are your favorite scenes. What are the things that you liked about this book? What are the things that you did not like about this book? And of course, do not forget to subscribe if you like this video. I will see you next time. Bye.